Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the latest edition of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, the chief content producer and writer of jakestake.com, a pop culture entertainment news website. If you're listening to this on our audio platforms, give us a 5-star rating, download this episode and more of our episodes. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, please give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe and help me feed that algorithm. I am thrilled today because my next guest is a social media influencer with over, as of this recording, 95,400 Instagram followers, 515,400 TikTok followers, and his content has received over 64.3 million likes. And not to mention 64.3 million likes. I'm going to repeat that again. And it was also crowned Influencer of the Year by Philadelphia Magazine. So please help me welcome Bran Flakezz to the podcast.
Thank you so much for that intro.
Bran, thank you so much for taking time in your schedule to talk with me today. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
So, Bran, let's get started. When you get interested in performing, and how did that passion involve and desire to pursue a career in comedy?
Yeah, I downloaded TikTok about 2.5 years ago. And when I saw what other people were posting, I thought everyone was really creative and really funny. And I thought that I had a lot of ideas that I could create videos out of. So that kind of inspired me to make an account and also post on there and kind of step out of my comfort zone. I treated it kind of almost like a close friends Instagram story, like just videos that I knew the majority of people that were seeing them were just my friends who followed me. But I got really, really into it. And as I started to see more and more people follow me and kind of gain interest in my content and my perspectives, that's kind of what inspired me to possibly pursue this as a full-time passion. And I just got really, really lucky with how things played out, with able to build a followers and the algorithm continuing to be in my favor in the beginning and just bringing new people to my page. And eventually I was able to make a whole career out of it, which has been amazing.
And congratulations on that. So many people. I remember hearing about Good Morning America and The View and Bobby Bones show and saying that so many people, especially when now young kids in elementary school, middle school, want to be social media influencer, but not everyone when they grow up, but not everyone is lucky as you are, Bran. So I'm so grateful that you have seen a lot of your stuff and there's a lot of incredible, because you are an amazing content creator.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. So I love your stage name, Bran Flakezz. So how did you get that nickname?
Yeah, when I was in high school, everyone was making Twitter accounts. And I don't know if this was just the thing that we were doing in our high school, but all of our Twitter accounts were like a play on words of our name. So I was like, okay, what can I do with Brandon? And I love the show SpongeBob. And there was an episode where SpongeBob gets mistaken for a box of Bran Flake cereal. And obviously Bran Flake cereal too exists. So I was just like, what if I make it Bran Flakes? I didn't really think much of it. It was just like my Twitter name. And when I made an Instagram account a few months later, I made it my Instagram name as well. But when I got to college, people were just like calling me Bran Flakes. And I didn't mind it. I thought it was kind of a fun nickname, and it just kind of developed from there.
It's amazing. And besides, you can't go wrong with a cereal named Bran Flakes.
Yes.
Alrighty. So your brand is known as Gay Chaos. Could you describe that? Because I've never heard that term before. And
Yeah.
how does that brand help you stand out in the influence world?
Yeah, that was a funny story too. When I used to work a corporate job and was just kind of getting started with TikTok and finding like platform success, I actually was training an intern on my team, and she kind of confessed to me at lunch one day. She was like, I told like all my friends that like you're the person who's training me, and that like that guy from TikTok is like who's my mentor right now. And she was like, they kept asking me like what kind of content you post, and I like hope this doesn't offend you, but I described you as Gay Chaos. And I was like, can I steal that? That's so funny. I love that. And that kind of really is like it just kind of encapsulates like all my content. Like it started when I was 24 years old, and I was posting a lot of party content and going out and doing like crazy things on the weekend and recapping my stories to my followers. since then, like, the chaos has kind of transpired into, like, other things. This job is chaotic. I'm constantly traveling, constantly, like, new things are going on, and I love updating people on them. But there's always a little bit of me in there, and I guess that's kind of where the gay comes out, because I'm just like, it's not just chaos, it's gay chaos. It just, like, felt, like, right, as, like, kind of just, like, a brand, like, tagline for me.
And I think it suits you well because a lot of people, you could identify it because it's hard for a lot of people to say, can you name your brand? Like your
Yeah.
brand is perfect. And with my
Thank
brand,
you.
I name is a content creator that specializes with telling stories for organizations using social media and also working with the best in the entertainment industry, right? No matter their music through reality television.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so I gotta say, so recently you completed your time on Barstool Sports' first reality TV show, Project Verified. So, what were some of the lessons that let you learn from your time on the show that helped you expand your brand?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think for me, before the show, my media like appearances were strictly just through TikTok and Instagram. So it was really important for me to kind of get a different experience and be behind like huge production crews, cameras, and it was the first time where I wasn't in control of the narrative. Like when you're posting your own videos, you are like the producer, the editor. You can cut out what parts you want and post the final product how you like it. But with this show, they take all of the media and they can edit it anyway. So I think that's the first big lesson I realized stepping out of that was like, I really am fortunate to be in a space where like I can control my narrative, and have a say in basically everything that I do in terms of what I film, what I talk about, how I edit it, how I produce it. Like I really am my own boss. And that was something I really walked away with a big appreciation for. Just like, wow, that was super fun, but I'm really glad that in my career, like I'm my editor. I'm who decides my kind of how my content looks. Um, but it was also a really like interesting perspective into like what people kind of who aren't out of my like demographic like think and how they watch content, because at this point my audience is very like curated to me. Like it's 90% female, majority of people are in the age 20 to 25. So this was a good opportunity to kind of be in something where I was reaching a different audience, probably a more male demographic, someone who might be more Gen Z, some younger people that I might not always be able to hit with my content. So that was cool as well.
I'm so glad they gave you the opportunity because it's very interesting to say that you know your audience because not a lot of content creators I talk with know their audience extremely well.
Right.
And I got to say, it must have been a little bit awkward because you went from Barstools to hang out with Sofia Franklyn, two complete opposites.
That is true. I didn't even think about that.
So I got to say, I watched your interview with Sofia Franklyn, and you guys had incredible chemistry. So how did that opportunity come about?
Yes. So last month in August, I was invited to go on a little weekend trip to the Hamptons with Patron Tequila. There were 6 influencers in total there, and myself and Sophia were 2 of them. And her and I had never met before. We didn't follow each other, but we just like really hit it off. We had so much fun the entire weekend, just like giggling, laughing, talking, having fun, going out. Um, and just like a genuine friendship was built, and I loved that. So when I came back to Philly after the trip, I knew I was going to New York in a few weeks for New York Fashion Week, and I just reached out to her team and was like, if Sophia ever needs a guest on her podcast, like Bran would love to be a part of it. And they were like, oh, absolutely. And it was just really awesome to be able to do that.
And you guys, I gotta say this because off camera, I want to say this. We said this off camera, but I want to tell this on camera. Your chemistry was electric.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think that's really why I wanted to do it, because I've done a lot of appearances on podcasts that are very seriously toned and, kind of more structured interviews, which are really amazing. But with her, I was like, listen, this doesn't need to be like a scripted list of questions you ask me. Like, I think we have really funny one-on-one chemistry, and I want the audience to kind of see that, and like, let's just riff off each other and just, kind of shoot it to each other. And I really, really liked that it was kind of a funny podcast that was like more lighthearted and just like, I think more relatable to the audience.
And it definitely related to me as well because after I saw you, I'm like, I want to have you on my as a guest.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. I'm glad we could do this.
I'm so glad too because you are amazing, and not to mention the fact that I'm so impressed with all the stuff that you did with social media, and I am in awe of, like I said earlier in your introduction, 95,400 Instagram followers and 515,400 TikTok followers is no laughing matter. It is very incredible, Brandon. In the span of 2 years, that is absolutely amazing, and I am in awe of you with that. So, what were some of the strategies that you and your team used to build your presence?
Yeah. Um, in the beginning, it was just all about being consistent and showing up every single day and posting, which was really no easy feat because I was working my own 9 to 5. And then I would get home and try to figure out, okay, what kind of content can I film and post this week? But it was really important to me because if I posted every single day and only 10 new people were seeing my videos, well, 7 days in a week, that's 70 new people who are seeing my account versus if I post once a week, then I'm only getting 10 new people. So I kind of thought of it from a numbers perspective and was like, the more and more I post, the more and more I have the opportunity for new people to see my content and hopefully follow along. And I think that really worked. It also was just like not giving up because I think a lot of people are like, oh, overnight success stories. That was not the case at all. I started posting in January, and for 6 months, like I had basically amounted to nothing. It wasn't until like June that I started to build a few thousand followers. And I hit like 10,000 right at the beginning of July 2021. And then by the end of that summer is when I had like 90,000. So in the beginning, there was like 6 months where it was just trial and error. So having a lot of patience and like seeing what people weren't engaging with versus seeing what people were engaging with was kind of what helped me shape the content that I wanted to make going forward.
And did you also pick out like with editing styles? Because for me, it's just right as of right now, it's just either a lifting video of me hitting a PR at my CrossFit gym or just self promotion. So do you do like how to do like quick changes or stuff? Because that could take a while.
Yeah, so my videos are really low lift, and I think the goal of my channel is like to always for the audience just to feel like they're on FaceTime with me and just like talking to me. I pretty much always use the front facing camera. Sometimes I use a green screen, always with my signature pink text. And that's really it. I don't really have anything that requires like super fancy equipment or really highly processed edited videos. Sometimes when I do brand partnerships, I try to make them more pristine and polished. But most of my followers at this point, they just like the gritty content that just feels like very authentic and like honestly, like it didn't take 5 hours to film. Like it truly did take 30 seconds for me to just explain something and post it. I think it just feels more fresh and raw. My channel's kind of like a stream of consciousness. Like if I have a thought, I try to just say it online. If I don't in that moment have my phone or I can't record, I write it down and try to film about it later.
And that's incredible. And now hashtags could be a blessing and a curse, and same with adding people as well. So, what is the limit for you when it comes to those? Because I've been using those and I've had some semi success using them.
For hashtags, I started using between 3 and 6. And then recently, since TikTok got so like SEO based, like search engine based, I try to make sure that the hashtags are like relatable to that specific video. So like I'll always use like if I'm talking about like dating, I'll do hashtag dating, hashtag relationships, like I'll try to make it so that if people are searching about certain topics, my video that's discussing that topic will come up. So I think that is helpful. Um, I used to, when I first started, always use like when TikTok was kind of in its beginning form, they would have like trending hashtags and stuff like that. I think they've since kind of fell off on that, which I think is for the best. But yeah, I try to keep like 2 to 3 hashtags for each video and make sure that they're relevant to the actual context of the video.
Absolutely, Bran. Absolutely. And also, I got to say, now, is it different posting the same? Do you post the same videos for Instagram or TikTok, or they're two completely different machine animals?
No, I pretty much repost content from TikTok that like really went viral and did well. I'll repost that to Instagram Reels. Um, Sometimes I'll do platform specific for Instagram. Like I notice if I want to do like a little bit more of a polished video, maybe like a quick change video and fashion content, that performs better on Instagram than it does on TikTok for me. I think with TikTok, they really just like want to see me talking, whereas Instagram sometimes could be a little bit more curated and aesthetically pleasing.
Awesome, because I have a trip. I just went to this. Going to be going to California. Is it very like? How often do you say I'm not sharing this with the public? To let's post this on TikTok or like post on social, because there's a fine line
Not
between
often
keeping the
enough.
reality and your what?
I said not often enough. That is the hardest part is like finding that like boundary of like this is my personal life and it's going to stay personal versus I created a career out of sharing personal details that I want to share this. So there's definitely times where I feel like I probably could share less and maybe that would improve some situations in my life. I learned that the hard way when I was first starting off and dating, and I was sharing definitely too much. And the people I was dating were like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Why are you making videos about me?" Um, that was a learning curve. But there are certain things that, like, I don't want to say there's anything that I'll never post about, but there's definitely certain things that I don't post about like super, super frequently. Like, I don't really post a lot of videos with my family. Like, they're doing their own thing. They don't need to be exposed. Obviously, if they ever wanted to film a video, I'd be like, sure, we can post something. But I try to keep my friends, my boyfriend, and my family off social media, off my platform, unless I like want to film a video with them and they're totally cool with it too. I just know how like evil online can be and like how mean people can be, and it's one thing for me to see comments about myself. You know, in some ways I did choose this career and I expected that, but I don't need my friends getting people like being rude to them or people being weird.
I totally agree with you on that, because it's a very, like you said, it's an extremely fine line. Like I only use like if there's something like if it's a family stuff, like with my family, I just post a photo and that's basically or that's basically it. Like if they feel like it, it's up to them. Because the thing
Right.
is they gotta have consent, because it's just otherwise you're gonna be letting so many people in that you don't have anything to yourself.
Yes, it's definitely a fine line. I think every creator and influencer has been like trying to navigate that. Um, because it's hard when you want to share really exciting things and personal moments, but you need to know when to keep some things for yourself.
Alrighty, I gotta congratulate you on receiving the Influencer of the Year by Philadelphia Magazine. So,
Thank
what
you.
did it mean? You're so welcome. So, what did it mean to be crowned that title?
It honestly meant everything to me because one of the things that stands out about me is that I am a content creator full time, but I don't live in New York or LA where a lot of the other creators live. I have a lot of pride in Philadelphia. It's the city that I was born and raised in and grew up in, went to college in. I've been here my entire life. So to be able to create content in the city that kind of raised me, that gave me the confidence to make content in the first place, is such an honor. So when I heard that those awards were happening and that I was nominated for the highest title, which was Influencer of the Year, it was such a blessing. And then to go on and actually win the award itself was just a fever dream.
And that's incredible, because I know that there's more stuff to come, including like, oh, I don't know, Webbies or something like that.
Yeah. My goal would be like eventually in life to be nominated for a streamy, or be able to at least like go to the streamies and maybe even be a presenter of an award. You never know where social media is going to take you, but that would be an amazing thing to cross off the bucket list.
Absolutely. So, speaking of bucket lists, who are the collaborators that you want to work with in the future projects, and how would they enhance your audience, and how would you enhance their audience?
Oh my goodness, what a tough question. Well, I think eventually a podcast is in store for me, getting set up and making my own platform where I can talk about topics. It's hard because the podcast industry definitely is a little bit saturated, but I do think there's value that I can add to the space. And I would love to hopefully have guests on and first invite the people who have had me on, the Sofia Franklyns who have given me a chance to speak. I would love for them to come on to a platform that I've created. But there's no one like totally specific that comes into mind. I really love working with any creator at any size and just like bouncing ideas off of each other and filming videos together. I think it's really exciting, especially when your followers follow both of you guys and they can get really excited to see like a little crossover. Um, but I would say right now, I think I'm looking for people who are in maybe a little bit different fields, like editors, people who are professional videographers. In case I ever want to level up my content, I would love to be able to work with other people in the industry that could help me. And hopefully I could advertise their services and how great of a job they can do for me. And, we can kind of mutually benefit off of each other.
Absolutely, absolutely, because this industry is extremely tough, especially
Yeah.
with that. And speaking of that question, that brings me to our second to last question. If you had a chance to meet with influencers who are about ready to launch into their second career, and like they just got 50,000 followers on TikTok, they're already nearing 25,000 followers on Instagram, and they're at 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, what advice would you share with them? Because that's a very important, imperative part of their journey.
Enjoy the ride, and don't be afraid to take risks in the beginning. I think when I was first starting off and I was seeing like initial success, like there was so much hopefulness for me. I was like, the world is my oyster. I can continue to grow in this direction. I can pivot in this direction. There's so much endless possibilities. And I think, unfortunately, one of the only cons to getting bigger and bigger as a creator is people try to pigeonhole you and they're like, okay, you're this guy now. In the beginning, enjoy that honeymoon phase where you're kind of just falling in love with whatever it is that you're sharing that's sticking to your audience. And don't be scared to make a big leap like I did, which was quitting my full-time job and, saying, in this moment, this could be the only moment of my life where I have this audience that's really passionate about me. I'm going to seize the opportunity and go forward and really try to continue to build something out of this. And, don't be scared. I think if you're at that point in life where you have 50,000 followers and 10,000 subscribers, you're doing something right and something of value that people really want to continue to watch grow.
Absolutely. That's incredible advice. I hope everyone goes back and listens to that advice again, Bran. So last question, are you ready?
Yes.
Bran, where can my audience connect with you on social media?
Yes. So I am Bran, BRAN_Flakes, FLAKEZZ on Instagram. Same thing on TikTok, just with 2 underscores. Bran _Flakes with 2 Z's on TikTok.
Awesome. So, guys, did you miss an episode of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar podcast? Visit our channels on Apple Podcasts, Deezer, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, Spotify, and Spreaker. It's Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar, JACOB ELYACHAR. Are you on social media? Because I'm on social media too. Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok. That's right, TikTok, X, and YouTube. Jacob Elyachar, JACOB ELYACHAR. And when I'm Bran, I'm happy to say that I'm entering year 12 of Jake's Take, JakesTake.com. Guys, you can find out what happened this season on America's Got Talent, preview my upcoming coverage of The Masked Singer, and my take on new music, all on Jakes-Take.com. Bran, thank you so much for taking time on your schedule to talk with me today. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I cannot wait to see what you are do next.
Thank you so much, Jake.
All righty, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great one, everybody. Goodbye.